Hello, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Maddie, aka Trail Canvas, aka Trail. If you're not new here, hi. Nice to see you again. You're probably wondering why I posted a video called Artober in December. Well, you clicked to watch it, so you tell me. No, I'm just kidding. The real reason is I made a commitment to myself and I made a commitment to my art that I was going to finish this dang Inktober list, no matter how painful and brutal it got. I should never make promises to myself that I can't keep, okay? Because that let me down big time, but we'll get onto that later. I promised I was going to stick with it, so here I am with proof that I tried. I didn't complete it, but I tried! So can we please get a round of applause? I'll be quite honest, if I didn't pre-plan some of these pieces and artworks, I probably wouldn't have gotten as far as I did. But I feel accomplished with the overall project and what came out of this video. Is it a little bit of foreshadowing? Maybe, maybe not. Without further ado, here's a look into the first 2 weeks of Artober, and if you want to see what happened during the last 2 weeks, stay tuned.
I couldn't think of a better way to kick off Artober than with a silly little painting of some silly little ghosts with some mustaches. And because this prompt list is just so crazy and silly and out there, why not do something simple to just ease into it? I can't really say that this idea was 100% mine either. I have to thank Mr. Trail for this idea. He kind of looked over the prompt list with me and decided that I should just paint ghosts for the entire list. However, I'm not going to do it. You may be seeing these ghosts first, and they definitely won't be the last, but there will not be ghosts for every single prompt, I assure you. By the time I got to this part of the painting, I was really stressing over what I wanted the background to look like, because if you couldn't tell, you can still see my old sketch in the background. So I went with a little distressed kind of purple look. So it's not going to look perfect in the background, but that's fine because that's how I wanted it. I hope you enjoyed this little video. See you in the next one. Bye! Day 2 prompt is weave, and I'm going to be using my scrap string to be showing you how to make a candy stripe bracelet. If you aren't using scrap string like me, you're going to want to cut your string to be as long as your wingspan, so about 5.5 feet. Match up the end of the strings and then fold them directly in half so all of the ends match up together. Now find the loop end and tie a knot in it, making sure to keep a loop at the end at all times. Once you have your knot secure, you're going to go ahead and fasten your bracelet, whether that's with tape, a clipboard, binder clip, or a safety pin. Once you have your bracelet fastened down, organize your strings the way you want your pattern to go. I'm doing white, black, white, black. Once your strings are organized the way you want your pattern to go, you're going to take that first string and you're going to make a 4 over the second string, like so. Then you're going to take your first string and pull it through the 4 and then up, creating half a knot. Do it again to create a full knot. Once you've created a full knot, you're going to move that second string out of the way and keep going across the bracelet with your first string. Once you've made it fully across with the first string, you're going to move on to the second string and repeat the process. Same thing, create a 4, pull it through, and then up. Continue this for the whole bracelet until you're left with about 2 inches of string, then knot it, and you should be left with this wonderful candy stripe bracelet.
Day 3 and I have no idea what I'm doing, but we're in the fairy garden and I want a fairy crown, so we're gonna make a fairy crown and figure it out. I guess first I need to measure my head with this floral wire. I feel like, well, that's a disaster. All right, measuring my head. I'm surprised those scissors actually cut. So I just took some floral wire. You can't really see it because it's dark. I took some floral wire and I measured around my head so I could get this loop, which I twisted for now to keep in place. And I like how it sits. Now I need to figure out how I'm going to decorate it, and yeah. I feel like I need some beads. I am quite honestly struggling with day 3. I didn't prepare or like pre-plan. I just knew I wanted to make a crown. I have no idea what I'm doing. Here's where I'm at currently. I like it. It needs something, or like it needs something. I'm gonna take a break because I'm actually stressing from it. Am I gonna record? Probably not. I'm probably just gonna keep working on it, and you'll see it when you see it at the end of this video.
Day 4 and the prompt is murky. I had no idea what to do for this prompt. I had no inspiration. So I did what I do best and I searched the dictionary definition and I created something based off that. I used to make collage art all the time, so I thought, why not bring it back? I will say I've never used letter beads in my collage art before. It's always just been ripped up paper, scrap paper, and pictures out of magazines. I really like the 3D look that the beads give. And here's the final piece. I hope you enjoyed this little time lapse of me making a collage. Day 6 and the prompt is pierce. For this idea, I decided to use a needle and thread to create a design on canvas. You'll notice I'm already painting over a sketch. I started sketching and figured I should at least do a little bit of paint on the background. So that's what I did. And once it was dry, I went right back in with a totally different sketch than I had before. And I ended up liking this one. Was a little eager with this piece and started with the needle and thread way before I should have, and ended up ripping it all out and going back in to paint this design underneath. And I'm glad I did that because after the fact I realized the thread wouldn't go all the way to the edge of the canvas because of the frame underneath. It took me a minute to figure out a good rhythm with the needle and thread. That's why you'll notice the back is a little bit disastrous, but once I figured it out, it really came along. And here's the final piece. I hope you like it as much as I do. I definitely want to do more like this one. Day 7 and the prompt is starfish. And what do you know? We're doing another silly little ghost. Only this time, it's Patrick Star dressed up as a ghost. I will say, this one was a little bit of a break from what I've been doing for the rest of Artober. I focused a little more on making this one more cartoon-like, rather than focusing on the realism of the sheet. I couldn't stop giggling while I was painting this. It was just so fun. I hated leaving the face like this for so long. It was kind of creepy to look at, but I just had to wait for it to dry so that way I could add the fine line details. And here's the final piece. I hope you enjoyed watching this video as much as I had fun creating this piece. Day 8 and the prompt is reckless. For this one, I wanted to stay true to the definition of the word and do whatever I want. I started by finding a short quote and basing my piece kind of around that quote. I went into this thinking that the color scheme was going to be a little more wild and reckless than it is, but that's okay. It is what it is. You're probably thinking, Maddie, get some double-sided tape or a glue stick. You know what? Honestly, one day I'll get to that point. Today is not that day. I like using my Mod Podge, especially when I'm including tissue paper, because then I can mold the tissue paper to be whatever I want. And Mod Podge also acts as a protective layer, so I'll keep using it. I hope you enjoy the final piece. Here it is. Alright, day number 9. The prompt was heavy. And of course, what else am I gonna do but paint a rock? So I started off with a base layer of white, and honestly I don't know why I did it, but I'm glad I did, because you'll notice as I was layering the galaxy colors, there was little speckles of white that kind of shine through the blue that already looked like there was stars on there. It took me quite some time to get the background the way I liked it, but once I finally figured it out, I went right ahead with sketching the moon, and I'm so thankful I sketched it out first, because if I would have freehanded it, it wouldn't have turned out that great. And you already know I had to add a clip of real-time painting in here, so here you go. I wanted to try and get some of the background noise that I was experiencing, like nature noises, wind in the trees, and whatnot, but I live close to a busy road, so the only thing I got in the background was highway noise. But I did have this little guy come visit me, and I'm pretty sure he pooped on my rock. But that's okay, there's a part of him in this painting now. And as soon as I was done with the moon, I went right into sketching the clouds. Again, grateful for my Sharpie paint pen, because there's no way I would have freehanded these clouds, especially when I was filling them in. It was getting very tedious and annoying because I couldn't figure out how I wanted to blend them. You'll notice I started with a little like creamy colored cloud, and then I just went in with gray and white. And the top cloud, honestly, I don't know what to think of it. I had to sleep on it and come back to it the next day because I just could not, for the life of me, figure out how I wanted to shade that top cloud. Once again, couldn't decide on colors, so when it came to doing the stars, I did gold and silver. Silver little speckles to kind of give it that extra shine, and the gold kind of as the main attraction. Finally, I put some Mod Podge over it and kind of just sealed the painting onto the rock. And then, just like that, it was the first prompt I completed from the entire Inktober list. Day 11, and the prompt is Sting, and for this one I decided to paint a paving stone that I've had for a while. I knew I wanted to paint bees, and my original plan was to paint honeycombs and honeybees. But then this prompt came up for Inktober, and I decided to hold off and do just bees on the stone instead. And who knows, maybe for another one I'll paint a honeycomb and honeybees. My favorite part was adding the wings onto the bees because each wing was different and it made every bee look unique in its own way. And here is my cute little stone. Day 12 and day 13 are actually recipes, and I plan to put them in their own video in the future, so stay tuned if you want to see that.
So here's where the train kind of gets derailed and goes off the track a little bit. I was stumped with words like blunder, ornate, and Arctic, so I decided to give myself a little break. A mistake. However, I was also going through the loss of my great nanny and a work transition, so I was kind of slowly letting go of the idea of me ever finishing this list because of how far I fell behind with filming and creating. If it wasn't for the pieces that I pre-planned and my good friend Renika and all of our friends in the TC Museum that encouraged me, it wouldn't have gotten done. This reminded me that Inktober is just kind of a guideline and nobody ever actually finishes it. And if you finish it, congratulations, you might be one of the people that I envy. That list is very short. But if you can finish Inktober in a month, it might just be a little bit longer, okay? So, what's next, you might be wondering? Well, I took a few prompts from the final 2 weeks, and I had a few half-ass pre-planned things, so I decided I was gonna finish those. Right now, I couldn't tell you if I recorded any of it, but I'll insert photos for you to view now. That's it. That's the video. Are you kidding? Did you really think I was gonna end like that? No way. There's more I want to talk about. You may have spent the entire video wondering why did I call it Artober? Well, I didn't want to follow traditional Inktober rules. Pen and ink is not my favorite or most used medium. I'll be honest, I kind of hate pen and ink. I did, however, use the medium and follow traditional rules in a few of the prompts when I couldn't think of anything to do with another medium. I also wanted others to feel like they could follow whatever rules they wanted if they felt inspired by this crazy, weird list. With that being said, I didn't follow the rules, and looking back, I would have given myself a little bit more of a break. I tried my best to create something every day, but it also made me insanely burnt out. Doing art every day on top of also working full-time hours, it was hard to pull myself out of that creative block, and I'm still trying to, but that's a topic for another time. In all honesty, the content creation of it all was way too much for me to handle. It is fun, and I do enjoy making videos. However, again, filming every day, it was just too much. Like, it got to the point where I'm like, I just want to do the art. So I'm just gonna do the art, and if there's no content, there's no content. Whatever, I'm happy, I'm having fun. I personally feel I could have been better equipped and should have planned, like, this video concept just a little more. I had higher expectations, and it added more stress than intended, but I know with practice and patience, it will all come together and everything will work out, especially if it's something I really want for myself. I just need to pump the brakes and just chill for a minute. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed as much as I enjoyed creating the art and putting it together. If you'd like to see all of my Inktober/Artober pieces, a lot of them are posted on my Instagram, so go check that out. If you'd like to join the TC Museum, the link is below. If you like this video, give it a like or don't. Subscribe or don't. I'm not gonna tell you what to do. See you in the next one. Bye.